Good day and welcome to Home at the Hollow. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sharing one of my favorite recipes, and there's several different reasons why, and I'll tell you in just a bit. This is one of my favorite pumpkin recipes, and you know, to celebrate the season, it is all about the pumpkins. Today's recipe is a very simple pumpkin bread. It's rich, it is moist, it keeps well and for several days, and there are several variations that you can kind of customize it to yourself. So if this is something that you're interested in learning about and getting the recipe for, or if you just want to hang out, well, keep on watching. So as I'm sure you guys can see, I've been very busy, a little bit of a mess here. I've still got my pumpkin chili going in the background, and if you didn't see that video, I will drop a link below because it is so tasty and delicious. But right now we're going to make some pumpkin bread, and one reason why it is my favorite, of course it was a favorite at the end. There was actually many favorites at the end, but I think one of the reasons why this is one of my favorites is because you can bake. It makes 2 loaves. You can bake them and they will keep. They travel very well because I took 2 loaves with me. This is for real, guys. I drove from Nova Scotia to the Gulf Coast for Mardi Gras, and of course, back then my parents were still here, and I just wanted to, enjoy the festivities with them. And so it took me, I think 3 or 4 days to drive down, but I baked some of this pumpkin bread because I knew from experience that it keeps very well, it stays moist, and is absolutely delicious. But without further ado, it's going to be a little bit of noise here with my mixer. I moved it this way, I moved it that way, and this is really just about the very best that I can do. I've had my eggs. I have 4 eggs, and they are definitely at room temperature, and I'm going to just add those. So 4 eggs, 3½ cups of all-purpose flour with 2 teaspoons of baking soda, 3 cups of granulated white sugar, a 15-ounce can of pumpkin, and there's my oven ready, preheat your oven, but a 15-ounce can of pumpkin, 1 cup of vegetable oil, 2/3 of a cup of water, and depending on your mood, several different mix-ins. So I'm going to just go ahead and get, if I can, get my eggs going. This is so easy, guys. And I'm going to slowly, for no particular reason, I'm going to slowly add my pumpkin. And I really think pumpkin helps keep things moist. I know in the case of the chili, it keeps it very smooth and very creamy. But this was an absolute favorite of all the guests. And when I made it for the end, I would often stir in and bake, with fresh cranberries, because there was always fresh cranberries to be had in Nova Scotia. So, and we'll just get that mixed up. Easy. And you probably could do this by hand. A cup of vegetable oil, 2/3 of a cup of water, and I'm going to slowly, maybe a little bit of, maybe half, my granulated sugar. I know it seems like a lot of granulated sugar, but remember, this is for 2 loaves. And you probably could make muffins with this and put a streusel on it as well, if that works better for you. A little bit more sugar. And I've already sifted and gone through my flour and made sure there was no unpleasantries. But cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg, ginger, ground cloves. And yes, this recipe will be in my cookbook, and which I think you guys can see. I hope you can see. I just got a proof copy of it, so I am hoping that the cookbook will be ready very, very soon. But this will be in there, of course, because I mean, it's honestly, it is too good not to share with you guys. And I'm gonna just, this is very unceremonious. Very unceremonious. And we're going to have a little bit of a test. If some of you guys, have the kind of basic like aluminum loaf pans, whatever that you have, I've got a couple over here that we're going to test out. We're going to bake these off and turn these out and see which one makes a better or prettier loaf of bread. Because this is meant to be kind of like, this is meant to be a recipe to be shared, but, and of course, share with your neighbor, but I like to, of course, use one loaf and have one loaf to eat for breakfast, brunch, or, whatever, or, the kids after they get home from school for snack, or, what have you, but, I like to have one right away and then put one in the freezer, because you just never know when you're going to have someone wind at your door for a visit or, whatever. And I think that's ready. And it's not. And it's not. And now there's several different components that you can add depending on your taste, that you can add to this particular recipe. When I had the end, because I had so much fresh cranberries, I very often would add cranberries to it. And I still do have cranberries, but you could add raisins if you like, or dry cranberries or fresh cranberries, whichever you like. I've got some dried blueberries here, but you know what? We did blueberry muffins the other day, so I'm going to say no to the blueberries. But what I am going to add to it are chocolate chips. I'm only adding about half a cup, and I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but you'll see. You will see what I do in the end. But I just put my chocolate chips in. I left a little bit of flour in the bottom of this bowl. You can use semi-sweet, milk chocolate, whatever works for you. I'm going to give this one more happy go round and shut it down. See if I can get this out of here. It just makes a beautiful, beautiful batter. And certainly, if you're concerned about the amount of vegetable oil, you certainly could probably use applesauce, although I've never used applesauce in this particular recipe. Once I have a recipe and it just consistently performs for me, because you guys know foods are kind of going up in price, so I'm not going to bring a recipe to you guys that is not going to give you and put you where you need to be. And you can see it is a beautiful, beautiful batter. I love it. If you want to, if you have any orange rind shavings in your freezer, and I'm hoping that you guys are doing that. You could add some at the moment, but a few little chocolate chips. It's probably 3/4 of a cup, half a cup. I'm not adding a lot. I just want a little sweet surprise as I go along and have this. And you just give it a wee bit of a go. And there you go. Just make sure if you have a stand mixer like this, and I'm sure if you have one, you probably already know by now to kind of scrape the bottom, because there's a mystery area right here in the bowl that it just doesn't seem to. But this mixes up easy, easy, easy. Very, very easy. But what I have, and excuse my absence, what I have here, in case you guys really, you know, are shopping for bakeware or something like that, what I have here, I've used both loaf pans. This is one of those silicone pans, and this one I bought at the Lodge store, like right outside of Chattanooga. And it's just an incredible loaf pan. I've greased and floured both of them. Of course, with this one, I want to make sure it comes off of my cast iron. So I put a little bit of parchment paper in there and just give it a, and there you go, guys. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. So if somebody, you know, happens upon your door and is looking for, you know, something to have with coffee or tea, believe me, I know I know about people coming in at your door. When I had the inn, very often it was full. It was 10 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, and you know, it would accommodate 18, you know, depending, 18 to 24 people every night. So I was cooking for 18 to 24 every single night. And there you go. 350, 50 minutes or until a skewer is removed cleanly. And we will come back, take these out of the oven, allow them to cool, and turn these out and see which pan that you would prefer to bake in. So we are at the 50-minute mark here, and I wanted to check on this. I want to get one of my skewers because I'm going to skewer these, but I wanted to show you how these two pans, you know, kind of behaved in an oven. So we're at the 50-minute mark, and I can see this is still jiggling. There's not even any reason to skewer this one, and I will do this one, and I don't think it's ready. It is not ready. So I'm gonna let these go probably another 15 minutes. So check back when they are done. And here we are back. We checked these at 50 minutes. Now, please understand, I am baking in a very, very new and unfamiliar oven. At 50 minutes, these were not anywhere near ready. I set the timer for another 15 minutes, and it was perfect. So, you know, kind of gauge the bakeware that you use, because I'm finding it makes a huge, huge difference, and your oven and different factors like that. But here we are. And we have this one, and this one is still pretty darn warm. I found out years and years ago when I first bought this cast iron loaf pan, it gets pretty darn hot. So that's one of the things, but I'm gonna turn these out. I think this one is cool enough for me to turn out and to allow to finish cooling off. And you know, that's one of the great things about these silicone, I'm hoping, these silicone pans, is that they just plop right out, and without not too much but you know, it doesn't have that, you know, that loaf shape like this one does, although, you know, of course they're going to taste the same. But there you go, is that one. Now this one, I know this one is still pretty darn warm, so we'll make a little bit of room. And I personally, I like the more traditional shape of a loaf pan. And I'm really hoping that I can just lift this out maybe. Yeah, I mean, these have been out probably half an hour or so, and this is still pretty darn warm. I think I'm gonna have to kind of loosen it on the side, even though I greased it and floured it. You know how that is. There you go. How pretty. How really, really pretty. And yeah, my cast iron is just beautiful. I love my cast iron. And we will set this aside. Excuse the mess. But yeah, it's a very, very nice loaf. Now I do, and I don't mean to, put down the silicone pans at all. I actually have one more, just one more. And it is like the mini loaf pans. Now when I bake my cranberry orange bread and different breads like that, and if I want, to serve it, it makes little bitty slices and it's just perfect for brunch. But we're going to cut into this. We're going to have a little bit of a taste. Let's see how this looks. Let's just see. I do love to bake. And there you go. Let's see. They will have just a hint. I didn't add a lot of chocolate chips to it, but it will have just a hint. And this, oh my goodness, this is a moist. And you could, I don't know, but I can still see the steam coming off of it. And I'm going to have just a small taste. Oh, you guys, really, really good. It's one of those things that will make you feel good about serving it if you have, young children, older children, because even though it does have some sugar, oils, and things like that in it, pumpkin is just so nutritional. It's very, very good, and a little bit of chocolate's not going to hurt anybody. But yeah, it's just, I wish I just, and it's so tender. It's so perfect, and it is the perfect combination. These will keep. I probably will wrap this one up and wrap it well and put it in the freezer for, just one of those days when I don't feel like cooking a big breakfast. I'll slice it up, toast it, and maybe put a little bit of butter on it. It's really so flavorful. You don't want to mask the flavor of the pumpkin and the spices with a little bit of butter. But hey, that's me, you do you. But, and then this I will wrap, and it probably will keep for a good week, as long as, I've kept it, reasonably cool. But, yeah, that brings back fond memories of driving down the coast, going to Mardi Gras, and having a good time visiting family and friends and things like that. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. Give this recipe a try. This is one of those recipes that so simple, so easy, and it tastes like unbelievably good home-cooked fresh food. Y'all have a great day, and I hope that all of y'all come back to see me home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.